5 of Body and Mind, brought to you by our beverage partners Lacno Healthy Living Juices and Oasis Boxed Drinking Water, hygiene partners Cool and Cool, and associate sponsors Nutridora Bevia, Oleum Chicken and NutriCook. If the last few months have felt like a knockout blow, it is time to not throw in the towel, and it's time to ring the bell of this episode with a workout that will kickstart my day. And I'm sure with all the analogies I've just used, you guys would have probably guessed that today's workout involves boxing. Guys, so while mentally I'm still preparing for my first ever boxing challenge, physically I'm all set with my pink gloves. They match my shoes perfectly. And with me is my boxing coach, Raphael from 51 Gym. How's it going?
Okay, all good.
Well, I'm so excited to be here. First of all, this is such a beautiful gym. It doesn't even feel like a gym.
Nah.
I can't tell if it's like an upscale coffee shop or a boutique furniture store. I really cannot tell. It's so nice.
That's the aim. The aim is to make it feel like home. So when you're at home, you don't feel that you're going to a normal gym and you need to get out of the house to go to a gym. So that's the aim of it.
I just want to sit on that armchair and have a cup of coffee.
Go for
it's
it.
So relaxing.
If you earn it after, you can do it for sure.
All right, BoxFit. Tell me how and why is it a good workout?
So BoxFit is a combination of boxing, a traditional boxing, where we involve technique movements, and we involve high intensity exercises as well. The aim is to burn as many calories as possible, let you feel that you've done a proper good workout in the end of the session.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because a lot of people, well, the general perception about boxing is that it is a bit of an aggressive sport. People often associate it with self-defense, MMA.
Yeah.
They don't really look at it as a form of workout. So what is your take on that?
So you have both of the areas. When you speak about boxing, people always refer like getting punch someone. But on the BoxFit class is more of a de-stress, mental de-stress. So you'll be punching the aqua bags, and you'll be taking your body to new stages that you probably didn't know you had them as well. So that's the main aim of it. And it's not aggressive. It
is a form of anger management though, isn't it? Because you take out all your stress and anger
100%.
of the day on the aqua bags. How long does it take for a person to train till they are fit to do the sparring session?
That depends from individual to individual. It might take a month, it might take 2 months, someone can be done in a week. But the hardest part of the sparring is preparing the day-to-day person with the mental of getting punched.
Yeah, because that would be anyone's biggest fear, right? Like to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing is everyone thinks when I get punched, I'm going to get hurt. And if it's done in a safe environment and with the right techniques, it's perfectly fine.
Who would you say is more at risk, the client or the coach, while doing the sparring session, especially with amateurs?
They get more excited than us, for sure. We get the pain and the bruise after.
All right, so this is my first session. Do you have any tips for me?
Just go for it.
That's not a good tip.
Relax. Just
that
relax.
Is not a good tip. Tell me something else.
I'll say just listen. Technique is going to be really important, okay? So just one of them is keep your hands up. Yeah, you might struggle with that.
I need to remember this because this is not a natural resting position for me.
Exactly.
Like this
keep hands up and everything will be fine from there.
All right, let's do this
Let's do this.
All right. So let me just take these gloves off for a second. All right, guys, so I'm gonna get started. Before that, it is very important to hydrate, so I'm just gonna have some of my Oasis Boxed Drinking Water. I'm so ready for this. Well, as someone who's never boxed before, initially I was a bit intimidated by it because I've always, it was never really something that I've considered. I always thought it was a bit aggressive. It's probably a little bit more masculine, but once I did it, I thought it was pretty cool.
For me, boxing has been a complete lifestyle change. I started boxing 2 months back, and it's definitely helped me focus better, build up my stamina, my endurance levels, And it basically is a complete body workout, a full body workout. And yeah, it's helped me stay fit. And if someone's looking for an athletic body, then I definitely recommend boxing.
I think everyone has a different experience with boxing, especially depending on how advanced you are with it. Because this was my first class, while I was punching the aqua bags, I felt a great release. Because a lot of people look at it as anger management, right? Like whatever stress and tiredness and everything, you just take it out on the bag. So from that point of view, I really enjoyed it.
I attend the box fit classes at least once a week, and I think it's a full body workout. It targets your core, your all the muscles of your body actually. So shoulders, chest, back, your legs. And I think I would definitely recommend this once or twice a week. It's a good stress reliever as well. And yeah, you at the end of the class, you burn around 600 to 700 calories.
I will come back because I think it's more exciting than doing regular cardio, and I feel like there's also strength training involved in it because it takes a lot of strength. Cardio generally, if you're on a treadmill or an elliptical, you're just running. I feel like it's a great way to build muscle, feel free, and at the same time burn some calories.
You feel satisfied that you've had a good workout, and you feel exhausted as well. And that's something that a lot of people would not reach in the limited time. This is just a 45-minute class. You actually feel really exhausted and tired at the end of it.
And surely I'll need many such protein smoothies. This particular one packs the power of Lacno protein, milk and berries. It is 100% natural, high in calcium, vitamin D, and it's got 60 grams of protein in it. It is great for your long-term wellness and nutritional needs. Yummy. Time for a quick break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Season 5 of Body and Mind, brought to you by Beverage Partners, Lacno Healthy Living Juices and Oasis Box Drinking Water, Hygiene Partners, Cool & Cool, and associate sponsors Nutridora Bevia, Acumen Chicken and NutriCook. Now, on this segment of healthy eating, we are going back to basics. When I say basics, I mean broccoli and tomato. Now, how do you get a hardcore carnivore like myself to eat these two? Wait and watch. You know, usually when I ask the question, what's for dinner, if someone replies, tomatoes and broccoli, I would much rather take a hard pass and go to bed hungry. But if that same tomato and broccoli is prepared by a multi-award-winning chef, like Chef Manoj Rai to my left over here, I will happily accept the invite. Chef, first of all, welcome to my apartment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for doing this. I don't know if this is your way of telling me that I've gained weight during lockdown, but why? Why tomatoes and broccoli?
Well, every ingredient has a different benefits, and a chef duty or responsibility to create the flavor out of different ingredients. Tomato is a very pungent thing, and if we know correctly how to use with different ingredients, you will get the best taste after that.
Okay, now chef is actually being very modest over here, because although the thought of a tomato soup is traditionally not exciting to anybody, but this soup that he has prepared for me is a award-winning tomato soup, which is your original creation. Correct?
Yep.
And the best part about this is that it's dairy-free. There's no cream.
Exactly.
Yeah, so and there's no cream, there's no milk, so
no, nothing.
So what makes this dish the star that it is?
Okay, so when I started my career, the basic has to be right of creating any dish. The basics is there with a tomato soup, and then I have used to infuse the flavor with kaffir lime. That happens to be my favorite ingredients.
I think that's something you and I have in common. Even I feel like kaffir lime is one of the most underrated herbs. Is it a herb?
It's herbs, kind of leaf.
Yeah, but I think it is one of the most underrated ingredients ever, because just when you smell it, it is so packed in flavor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when I actually use kaffir lime with the tomato soup, for one of my award-winning recipe. This was the one, and it was appreciated by everyone. That it has a similar basic tomato soup, but with a very unique flavor.
It
That's the
definitely has a very unique flavor to it, and what really stands out for me is that the star of this dish is definitely the tomato, which is not usually the case with a lot of other tomato soups because you make it so much rich with dairy to really bring out the flavor. But here I taste the tomato, which is the star, and a hint of the kaffir lime, which only boosts the flavor without being so overpowering. How did you prepare this, chef? Please.
Okay. If I tell you I make the soup in 20 minutes, would you believe that?
Well, you are capable of anything, so I do believe that.
Very simple.
Yes.
Very simple. Oil, can be olive oil, tomato puree, garlic, onion, bay leaf, salt, pepper, bit of sugar. Just boil it for about 10 minutes. Add a little bit of warm water. Warm water because never add cold water to cooking ingredients. It gets down your temperature to a very low. So you have to match the temperature when cooking the food. So hot water. So you cook with.
Is that just the case with tomatoes, or is that a general?
Yes,
tip?
yes.
Okay.
Cook it for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And of course with kaffir lime.
Of course.
Strain it and then pour in the cup with pistachio and some black olive powder on top.
Yeah, that's the black stuff on top. I was wondering what that was. I mean, it's such a simple recipe, isn't it? And not only is this incredibly delicious, but tomato is rich in antioxidants, great for your heart health. Chef, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've also read somewhere that although tomato is technically a fruit, but because of its low sugar and carb content, from a nutritional perspective, it's considered a vegetable. Is it true?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, so I wasn't wrong then. Good research, Aishwarya.
It's the best antioxidant fruit.
Okay. All right, now let's move on to this dish over here, broccoli. Okay, broccoli typically does not bring a smile to my face, but you seem to be smiling. So please tell me about this.
This is the very simple, elegant dish. It's called broccoli fritters.
Yes.
Very healthy, oil-free, and I guess tasty as well. So, just blanch the broccoli for a minute and make a quick batter with Dijon mustard, egg and flour. And you should have a crumb with parmesan cheese and parsley. Just coat with that, and you can bake it in an oven without oil. I did air fryer.
You use my NutriCook air fryer, didn't you?
Exactly.
Do you find it to be better than a traditional
It's the
oven?
best. I tell you why. Because I use it back to my kitchen. It's give me a lot of sound, and it doesn't give me the smoothness to the cooking. This was so good. Perfect 10 minutes. I got the best crispy broccoli fritters. To the sauce, this is my unique one again. So it has.
I was going to ask you about the sauce. It kind of reminds me of a murtabal, but I don't usually like a murtabal. So, but I like this one. So what is this?
The texture is more like a murtabal, but it has very different ingredients. So peppers and tomato. I have
What
roasted.
kind of peppers?
Yellow,
Yellow
Yeah.
peppers? Capsicum? Okay.
Yeah, yellow capsicum,
Wow.
tomatoes, garlic, and
It's
toast it
so
for
flavorful, this
pan
one.
fried for about 10 minutes till it get caramelized, and then I did a puree with artichoke and capers, black olives, and then fold with mayonnaise, and this is what
You've used such amazing superfoods and
All healthy.
vegetables
Yep.
to prepare this particular sauce over here. I mean, it is so delicious, so rich in flavor. This sauce you can actually eat on its own. You don't even need the broccoli with it. It's just it just makes the broccoli so much more delicious. As far as the broccoli fritters are concerned, it kind of reminds me of how I cheat my daughter in the sense that if I want her to get to eat vegetables, I put it inside something. So it kind of feels like that because when you bite into the fritter, you can actually taste the crunchy broccoli. So it just feels like he's taken a broccoli, lightly blanched it, and then kind of tried to convince me to eat it with all the goodness of the Dijon mustard and egg and parmesan that has gone over
Exactly.
it. Yeah, so you still taste the broccoli in it. It's not like deep fried and completely.
So yeah, because I have used the whole chunk of broccoli that's been blanched, so you can see the green part inside the broccoli, right? And then just a coat on the top to give the crispness to the body.
Chef, you're really into fitness. Sorry, I'm speaking while I have food in my mouth.
Yeah.
You're really into fitness. What kind of vegetables do you recommend? Absolutely.
So well, to be very honest, I eat broccoli a lot every day, because of course the anti-aging and have got a lot of benefits as well. I don't do dieting. I eat everything, but I eat on a proper timing and proper amount.
Chef, before we leave, I have a question for you which will put your skills and knowledge to the ultimate test.
Sure.
What kind of music does broccoli enjoy? Brock and roll. Chef, thank you so much. I'm sorry about that bad joke. It's not the best way to repay you for this delicious meal you prepared for me, but I just couldn't help myself. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming to my apartment, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you very much.
So this evening I had a lot of good food and there were some bad jokes to accompany it as well. Time now for a quick break. Make sure you come right back. Welcome back to Season 5 of Body and Mind, brought to you by our beverage partners, Lacno Healthy Living Juices and Oasis Boxed Drinking Water, hygiene partners Cool & Cool, and associate sponsors Nutridor Abevia, Allium Chicken, and NutriCook. As human beings, we pay a lot of attention to our physical health. But do we give the same importance to our mental health? I'm sure we can all agree that this pandemic has been somewhat of an eye-opener to the world. Today, I am at the Kamali Clinic to delve deeper into the subject. To stress a little bit more about stress, anxiety, and overall mental health during COVID, I'm joined by psychiatrist Dr. Girish and psychotherapist Carolyn. Hi guys.
Hi, good morning.
We've all social distanced and we've sanitized with our Cool & Cool sanitizer and we're ready to go, right? Are you guys feeling safe?
Absolutely.
I'm sure as mental health care professionals, your roles probably have never been more important than it is during this time. I think ever since the 1918 Spanish flu, this is the first of its kind, a pandemic that we've ever experienced.
It is.
Would you say that while our physical health is at utmost risk, our mental health is just as much at risk, Carolyn?
100%. I think, one of the things, and I do talk about this with patients, is, whatever you're experiencing pre-COVID-19, whether it be anxiety, symptoms of depression, everything is accelerated. Every symptom is accelerated because, we're dealing with all these extra stressors that we really didn't have to deal with before.
Besides just COVID, in general, all the things that's happening around the world, it is quite painful to watch and feel all the more sorry for people who've had to experience it. Now, Dr. Girish, you've been in the industry for so many years and I would have imagined that you've seen it all when it comes to mental health. But this is the first of its kind even for your generation. What has been your general observation when it comes to mental health during COVID?
Well, so this was clearly unprecedented. No one was prepared for it. No one could foresee something like this happening where the entire world is in it together.
Yeah.
It's not one part of the world. It's not one country. It's across the globe. No one was prepared. We started off with an uncertainty. We're still living in the uncertainty. We don't know what's going to come out of it. And I think this in itself is enough for anyone to feel stressed, apart from all the challenges that we never had before, like working from home for so long and forced to do so.
Yeah. We don't like it when it's forced. We like it when we do it by choice.
Absolutely.
It's not a luxury anymore, is it? Working
not
from
at
home.
all. Not at all. So, of course, the initial phase, some people enjoyed it, but then it just became a pain when it just kept going on and on with your work life and your personal life just mingling into each other. There were no boundaries. Children studying from home, apart from a lot of financial stress that a lot of us had to face with businesses closing down, with salaries being cut, with so many people losing their jobs. So all of this together just became unmanageable for most of us, if not all of us.
I think COVID has attacked us from so many different levels. I mean, it's not just your health, it's finances, it's relationships and kids, and the list is just endless. You mentioned about all the stress that comes with uncertainty, and I'm sure you agree with me that this has put a lot of strain on relationships because now couples are cooped up in an apartment with kids or without kids. It does put a lot of strain in relationships when you're in each other's faces all the time.
That's
Do you agree
right.
with me?
Yeah, so well, it's ironical. So before the pandemic happened, people just wanted to spend more time with each other, to just work on their relationship, because everyone was so busy with their individual lives that even couples, they were not getting to spend enough time with each other. And here was the right chance to kind of just be together for a longer time. But it was out of no choice, and it was as if it was imposed onto them. And sometimes it does not help to be seeing each other all the time, to be on each other's nerves, if that's the right word. And it just gets painful, even if it's your loved one that you have to spend time with. But so much time, so much kind of getting in together all the time, it just gets suffocating at times.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much you love someone. Nobody needs to be in each other's faces 24/7, correct? It's not healthy. In general, there's been a lot of anxiety related to health. Like, I am one of them. I've experienced this a lot. Even if I have a little bit of a scratchy throat or a runny nose, I think I've got COVID. But then the symptoms are not strong enough to really go and see a healthcare professional. In general, there's been a lot of anxiety related to this. What is your take on this?
Well, it's just very interesting, because it's amazing how today, having the common cold can really take us to such a panic. And, previously to this, did you even think twice if you had a runny nose or sniffles or a little bit of a cough? Which can happen. And, now we're in a season of weather change. So that's pretty common. And I think, a lot of people are panicking.
Yeah. So what are some of the triggers? When do we know when this fear is just in our head and when we really need to go get tested?
Your anxiety is exceeding the normal limits when it really becomes very obsessive. You can't stop thinking about it. You can't stop overthinking. You can't stop catastrophizing. So when you really see this getting out of control, that's when it's really time to try to find somebody to talk to.
Most people have anxiety even pre-COVID, and the COVID is just, hit it off the roof. Dr. Girish, we spoke a little bit about relationships. This definitely has put a lot of strain on relationships, and I personally feel like this pandemic is going to change the way human beings interact forever. A lot of people thought we want to go back to normal, but then again, what is normal, right? There's no such thing as normal. Right. So what is the new normal, and how do we cope?
Well, we just need to be adaptive. We just need to accept what has happened. We can't be just sitting and crying over what has happened, what we've lost, how we just cannot exist the way we did before the pandemic. So the definition of normal is something that is constantly changing, and we just need to have the skills to adjust and accommodate the situation the way it is. We can't fight with it. It's good to just be in acceptance, embrace how things have changed, how lives have changed, how the world order has changed in general, how we travel, how we interact with each other, how we meet and greet. So just a simple handshake is something that's so abnormal now.
Yes.
We think twice before just extending a hand. So these are the small things, and of course a lot of big things that we need to start adjusting to, rather than cribbing and complaining or fretting about how things would go back to normal the way it was before the pandemic. Possibly it would never happen. So the new normal is the normal now. Yeah. We need to stop fretting about wanting to have the old normal back. So I think that's the way forward.
We just have to adapt with times. I'm no healthcare professional, but from the little bit that I've observed from my real life limited social interactions and from social media, is that this pandemic has either desensitized people, not just the pandemic, in general, a lot of atrocities that's happening across the world. I'm scared to look at the news these days. It has either desensitized people or really made people more empathetic towards other people's pain and suffering. Sure. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I think that we all have desensitized a little bit. I think it's, I think it's very surreal that we see people walking on the streets with masks, and that you can't, sit in close proximity to people anymore. You can't,
look at us.
Yeah, you go into restaurants, they have either a shield, or you go to order a coffee and there's a barrier between you and the person taking your order. It's just, it's a lot of things that you haven't seen before. And I kind of feel a little bit as though we're looking at it and we're almost registering it in our brain that this is surreal, but we've sort of shut it off a little bit.
Absolutely, I would agree.
So I think that that's something that I've been seeing a lot, I've been hearing a lot, and I've been experiencing personally a lot.
I mean, these are scary times, and we just have to adapt to the new normal, as Dr. Girish just said. And hopefully, I mean, I'm a glass half full kind of gal, and I would like to believe that one good thing that will hopefully come out of this pandemic is that people will be a little bit more open towards seeking help if they're not in a good mental space, and hopefully it removes some of the stigma attached to mental health. Guys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you so much, Dr. Girish. Some great points there covered by Dr. Girish and Carolyn. For more such compelling content, make sure to tune in same time next Sunday. Thank you so much for watching.